Let's bring in Barrister Okechukwu Osuoha, who's member National Caretaker Committee of the PDP and former Deputy National Legal Advisor. Thank you for joining us on the news tonight. Barrister, we saw a series of conflicting court orders in the lead up to the convention last year, including the Federal High Court in Abuja halting parts of the process and then an Oyo State High Court clearing the convention to go ahead. Precisely, how do you assess the legal basis of this new nullification by the Ibadan High Court, especially in light of these earlier contradictory orders and the argument that the convention was legally intact pending appeal?
Thank you so much for having me. I think today's judgment by the Federal High Court in Ibadan, in Oyo, is a welcome development. I think that judgment highlights the importance and the need for people, for Nigerian citizens, to obey the rule of law, to always obey court judgments, because it's very instructive. You know, what we do, we are in a democratic society, we are practicing democracy, and democracy must thrive by the rule of law. So when people begin to do things by impunities, and like we see the judgment of the court, it was so instructive. He said it was against the flagrant disobedience and disregard of court orders and court judgments, and also disobedience of rule of law. You know, before that purported unlawful convention that they purportedly claimed that it was held in Ibadan, there was two subsequent court judgments of the Federal High Court. One was a judgment that was pronounced by the Honorable Justice Omotosho, and also the last one was by Honorable Justice Lifu. They came up with an unambiguous and clear judgment and made a pronouncement and said, don't go for convention because there are issues that were formulated that was bordering on the disobedience of extant laws of the land, essentially the constitution of the party and also the Electoral Act and the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The court said, don't go for convention, go and put your house in order and do things properly. And then these people, in disregard of that court judgment, they went to a Oyo State High Court, a court of coordinate jurisdiction, and obtained an ex parte order. Ex parte order is an interim order, and they said that they should proceed for a convention. They went and purportedly held an unlawful convention. Even in that convention, the INEC, that is a regulatory body that regulates political parties in Nigeria and conducts elections, was not present in that convention. So after that, they even went ahead and sworn in the people they purportedly claimed that they elected, even before the expiration of the tenure of the last NWC of the party. So when the court now had this, and this time around, they now came back to apply to Federal High Court, asking the court to grant an order of mandamus to compel INEC to recognize them for their approval. So can you see it in law? You cannot put something on top of nothing and expect it to stand. You rejected the court judgment that said you should not go for convention. Then you're coming back to the same court and asking the court to give an order of mandamus to recognize you. So that's why the court was so emphatic, and said that no, we cannot tolerate this, and said that that convention was nullified. And even every decision taken or that was taken at that convention was equally a nullity. That is what I said, that today's judgment of the Federal High Court is very instructive, that people should learn from it. So going forward.
You know, the challenge in recent years hasn't been obeying court orders. It's been which one to obey, because the thinking of the average Nigerian is that politicians have their own different interpretation and they know how to use the courts in their favor. But the Turaki-led faction is now saying they will file an appeal and a motion of a stay of execution for this one. They're claiming that the Ibadan judgment is technically academic while pending authoritative intervention from the appellate courts. Do you agree that this isn't over until we hear from an higher court?
I disagree. Even themselves, they are shooting themselves on the leg. You can't, in law, you can't approbate and probate at the same time. What are they saying? Even I saw their submission or their response. They were saying that how can a federal high court, as a court of coordinate jurisdiction, that will give a judgment that the matter is already at the appeal court, is pending before a court of appeal, and that it amounts or tantamounts to forum shopping, abuse of court process. When in the same manner, they have already disobeyed court judgment. The Federal High Court gave substituting court judgment. 2 Federal High Courts gave judgment, and you now disobeyed it. You disregarded it and went to a court of coordinate jurisdiction, an Oyo State High Court, and obtained an ex parte order, an interim order that lasts for 7 days, and and that order can never and will never supersede or set aside or nullify a judgment of a court. And that's why they say it is before an appellate court. But look at the judgment of the Federal High Court today. It was so clear and very educative. Even the court went further and held that the only authority that can now man the affairs of PDP or manage the affairs of PDP is the National Caretaker Committee that is led by Abdurrahman Mohammed as the acting chairman and the National Secretary, Senator Anyanwu. And that even ordered or directed INEC to recognize that at National Caretaker Committee, pending the conduct of an authentic and lawful convention. Okay. So you see that everything was clearly stated today and pronounced. So there's no way, whatever they are doing, I'm asking them, it amounts to rascality. And even what they are doing is an exercise in futility. They should come back and know that they have lost ground, they have lost the case, and come back and not going for appeal and delaying and then even making our party to, ridiculing our party. That's what I can tell you.
Let us take a break from the legal arguments because we have to go now. I'm wondering how you respond to concerns even from within the PDP that the manner in which your party has handled this dispute is harming the party's credibility ahead of the 2027 elections, which is now just about a year from now.
And that's why, I have had the opportunities many times to discuss this matter, even in other forums. There was a time I granted an interview both in Channel Television and Arise Television. I said that we should tread with caution, that we are shooting ourselves on the leg and laying booby traps. What is happening or playing out in my party is just that some individuals are allowing their personal interest to override the collective interest of the party, which is not proper, which is not normal. So you see that what we are doing, the party, that's why I'm appealing. Even those people that look at them saying that they are going to appellate court, they are appealing at the matter. When the judgment is so clear, the court said that no, there was no convention. It nullified the convention. In the eyes of the law, you did not conduct any convention. And the court even pronounced and held that you should not parade yourself as a national officer or national working committee of the party. The court even held that the only authentic NWC that can manage the affairs of PDP now, because there cannot be any vacuum, essentially because the only authority now is the National Caretaker Committee, that they should not be piloting the affairs of PDP and also go ahead and conduct a proper and legitimate convention very soon. So what I expect everybody is to come together to the round table, like you said. My party is a party that is loved by Nigerians. Every Nigerian look up to PDP as an alternative. PDP has what it takes, everything, organs. Right. So the better thing we do now is to come back and reconcile and put our house in order and do the proper convention and put our house in order so that people can come and use our party as a platform to contest the election by 2027. That's what I will tell you. Well, that's what's going to be done very soon.
Indeed. I guess in the coming days we'll find out whether PDP is truly going to be a viable alternative ahead of the big one next year.
Exactly, it's going to be a viable alternative.
Okechukwu Osuoha.
I assure you.
That's our time. Member National Caretaker Committee of PDP and former Deputy National Legal Advisor of the party. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight.
And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.